We haven't seen your lovely face in quite some time.
No,
I know.
no.
I've been busy. And I've been recuperating. I had a bit of bronchial pneumonia or something. I don't know. I get it from time to time. Much better now.
Good. Oh my goodness, Nikki.
We are live on YouTube. Woohoo! So I'm going to go ahead and start by muting all of you. And then we will start to sink into our usual, rigmarole. Good morning, everyone. I am Reverend Michelle Scrimger-Brown, and it's truly my pleasure to welcome you all here today. Here we are the Spirit Healing Academy, and we are an assembly of people who will teach each other to find the miracle of joyful living from life circumstance to accomplish that which seems impossible. And our intention with these gatherings is to stimulate thought, create connection, and expand consciousness. Now, as I said last week, we do this through having challenging conversations. And this week, we're not really talking about challenging stuff, but I would still invite you to open your mind a little bit, be open to learning something different, and maybe sharing with us some of your perspective on the topic at hand. But before we sink into our discussion, I want to take a moment to share with you our land acknowledgement. As the journey towards reconciliation in Canada continues, and we strive to fulfill the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action, it is important that we continue to build relationships and engage in ongoing education. Reconciliation and allyship is a continuous process, and one that we all need to engage in fully. With this in mind, we must take every appropriate opportunity to acknowledge the traditional territory on which we reside. Acknowledging the traditional territory is one way to express our respect, gratitude, and appreciation for the Indigenous people who have inhabited and continue to live on the land we have taken from them. It is a recognition of their continued presence, both in the past and in the present. Recognizing this helps to honor the trauma being separated from their land has created within their people, and attempts to foster a safe environment where Indigenous people feel welcome to share their stories with us who are eager to listen. The Spirited Healing Academy is proud to acknowledge the lands and people of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, which is covered under the Williams Treaties. We are situated on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas, a branch of the Greater Anishinaabe Nation, which includes Algonquin, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi. So now I'm going to share our screen. Well, our screen. I'm going to share my screen with you so we all have the same screen. And we will begin with our opening intention, as we do every Sunday. May I come to understand that blessings are everywhere, that my attitude will affect outcomes, that challenges are often gifts in disguise. May I come to trust that most things can get better with time, that my instincts and gut feelings have value, that a positive attitude makes things go smoother. May I come to see that I have many skills and talents I can use, that I am a positive influence on many people, that there are those who wish me well. May I come to value that today is a blessing to be enjoyed, that each person is unique and important, and that each moment of my life has meaning. So today, our topic, a little bit fitting, is Thanksgiving. I know you probably could all see that coming, right? Particularly since I'm always telling you, I need a topic. Somebody tell me what to talk about. And the calendar gave me a topic this week. How generous. So what I have here is a list of 12 aspects that we may or may not be aware of that play in with the law of gratitude. So let's take a look at it and see what we think, shall we? Please remember you're all muted. So if you want to comment, you need to unmute yourself. Okay, so this is taken from an article posted on a website called markandangel.com. It was written in 2015. And I have to admit, I did change the title a little because they called it the 12 laws of the law of gratitude, but they're not really laws, they're things that play into the law of gratitude. So I took a little creative license here. So let's take a look at the first one. The more you are in a state of gratitude, the more you will attract things to be grateful for. What does everybody think of this? Don't all speak at once.
Isn't this the same as if I'm in a positive frame of mind, then likely I'll see more positive? So is this kind of the same as that?
They're related for sure. They're related for sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, is this kind of like the law of attraction?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I didn't. But yeah, that's good.
And it's because of the law of attraction that if you are in a positive frame of mind, then you're more likely to continue to stay in a positive mind, right? The being does the attracting. So yes, it is definitely similar to that example you just provided.
Is it a case of the more you are in a state of gratitude? Because the other day I was working outside on cleaning some blinds and I was like negative thoughts. And then I just thought, start listing things that you're grateful for, you know, as I'm scrubbing away at these blinds with my brush. And I'm thinking, and I went back to some really old friendships that I really enjoyed that aren't in my life anymore, but I really enjoyed them. And I thought, thank you for, you know, my friend Ilda, and thank you for, and I named a bunch of other friends. And then what I realized is that then it started me, you know, I was really fighting a lot of negative thoughts while I was out there. And then I was focusing on things to be grateful for in my life. And then I started listing some other things in my head, which led me to singing, which always makes me feel better. So I kind of wonder if the more you're in a state of gratitude, the more you will attract things to be grateful for. Is it a case of the more you're in a state of gratitude, the more you're focused on what you're grateful for, the more you can then see what is already in your life that you're not focusing your light on. You're not looking at the good stuff because you're so focused on, you know, like you might not be looking at the 10 other things in your life that are positive. You're stewing about 2 of the things that you're focusing on that you're worried about. Right. And so it's where
I think that's pretty astute, Nancy. And I would say that, you know, yes, like we say a lot in the energy medicine community that what you are looking for, you are creating. So if you're looking for opportunities to be grateful, you are going to create more of them.
Yeah. Because you're becoming aware of, I think then your awareness has increased on look for the, well, I don't want to say good. I'm trying to avoid good, bad, but you know what I mean? Look for the light and look for the light, look for the joy.
Look for what you want.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably the most neutral way to approach the difference between good and bad. Look for what you want.
Sounds good.
Anybody else have any comments on this one, or should we go to number 2? All right, I'm going. Being happy won't always make you grateful, but being grateful will always make you happy. What do you think about that? Like when I first read it, I was like, huh? What do you think? You're a chatty bunch this morning. Do you feel like, so Nancy, you were sharing that example a few moments ago about being in the garden, working with the weeds and vines, and you were seeking gratitude. Did it make you happy, being grateful?
It pivoted my thoughts away from the worries and the negative, the beating up I was doing inside my head. And it brought my focus to, like, it put a smile on my face to remember my old friend, you know, when I first moved to Toronto that I was working with, and the laughs we had. It made me feel better about myself. It made me feel better about life. And then as I said, it led me to singing, and that made me feel great because it was, you know, songs I love. And then and then Phil kind of looked over, you know, he was reading his book sitting in the chair. And he just kind of looked over and he said, I don't know, he observed that I was quite content. And being grateful, okay, won't always make, being happy won't always make you grateful, but being grateful, led to me feeling better. Absolutely. So the second part I did experience. Being happy won't always make you grateful. The first part, I don't know, when you're happy, when you're happy, isn't that a state of gratitude? Like being happy in the moment, isn't that living in the moment? And not even practicing, isn't that living gratitude when you're happy?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know that I think being happy means you are in gratitude. Not necessarily, but maybe. I don't know. What does anybody else think about that idea?
I think being grateful does make us happy. That's the first thing I do every morning before my coffee or while I'm waiting for it. I'm thanking the universe for all the things that I have in life, and that makes me happy. But to be happy, that just happens. We're doing something to make us happy. Whereas grateful, it's filling our body, it's filling the universe with all that we're grateful for.
And it's attracting more of what you're grateful for.
Yes.
I want to be really clear with all of you. I didn't say this at the start. When I was preparing this presentation this morning for our discussion, some of the aspects listed, I don't agree with. So it's okay with me if you are like, no, I think this is crap.
I think the first and second are somewhat tied together, or are we going to see more that it seemingly that it's all tied together? I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're components of the total experience of gratitude. Yeah.
Mm.
All right, let's take a look at number 3. We can always go back to ones if we are moving too quickly, okay? If there's something you wanted to say. Number 3, gratitude fosters true forgiveness, which is when you can sincerely say thank you for the experience. Forgiveness is such a big topic. What do you guys like? I don't know what I think of this. What do you think?
Yeah, the true forgiveness is like a real key thing to work on, and it's like bigger than your normal man-made forgiveness. But when you realize that everything is happening for you, not like against you, then you can be truly grateful for each experience. Although some of these experiences may be quite contrasting, but you get that the universe, you're attracting something that is going to push you in exactly the perfect direction that you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did think about that, and we've talked about this quote a few times, that the most authentic form of forgiveness, the highest form of forgiveness, is the authentic recognition that everything has served you and there's nothing to forgive. So like when I first heard that, I remember like, I think my brains were literally splattered on the wall. It like blew my mind so much. But really, like, as you said, Mike, that's what number 3 here is talking about. Like, when we recognize life is not happening to us, but for us, somehow, some way, even the garbage stuff. Yeah.
And I listened to Abraham Hicks, and she's like saying that, you know, that source has never forgiven anybody. Like there's no forgiveness needed. And then you realize, okay, that's the real true forgiveness, even though it's unnecessary.
Can you just say that first part again? Like, that is so profound. The source
has never forgiven anybody. Like that is
crazy.
Yeah,
more
it's never been necessary. Like you think you go back and you're judged. You know, I even think about people that go through this near-death experience where they have this life review, and you feel everything that you've ever done to anybody else, and but there's this unconditional loving aspect to it that you don't actually. You feel maybe the pain that they felt, but it was all part of the perfect plan. So no forgiveness is necessary.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in with this is triggering me because I'm still struggling with everything happens for you. You know, like I've realized with me, it takes me years. Things go through my mind, these new ideas, and then they're new and I struggle with them, some of them for a number of years. And then they eventually reach my heart. And then eventually my heart accepts them. This gratitude fosters true forgiveness. As much as I've released a lot of the stuff from the past, I still have not experienced I haven't experienced gratitude to be able to achieve forgiveness for things that happened to me that I still perceive as horrific. I survived them. I learned from them. Maybe it's what made me compassionate. Maybe I was an a-hole in a previous life, and maybe what happened to me in childhood is why I'm compassionate now. Because I do kind of go, wow, I don't have the whole picture. When I die and go to the other side and have the life review and see the bigger perspective of all the many lives I've lived and what my soul here came here to learn, maybe then I will comprehend, because sometimes I go, you know, now I have another person, I'm sort of one person I've forgiven and another person I'm struggling with at the moment. I'm talking key people from our childhood. The other person I'm struggling to forgive. I'm wondering if I keep asking myself, well, what if you were the one who was not the good person in that person's life, you know, prior to this life? So it's gratitude fosters true forgiveness. I think depending on the depth of the pain of the experience you went through in this, I'm talking this lifetime as a human being, I don't think it's, you know, like it's like, I'll say this again. My husband's gone through experience. My best friend gone through cancer. My best friend died of cancer. I have aunts that have cancer. So this cancer journey is not one I have personally walked. So I really can't speak to it. I can speak to it as an observer, as a wife of a man who had prostate cancer and cancer another time in his life. But I cannot. So my experience of life, as somebody who came from a very challenging childhood, with lots of different kinds of abuses, I get triggered because I think, well, if someone came from a safe childhood, they can comment that, oh, it's easy to forgive, it's easy to do this. But I get triggered by that because I think, but you haven't walked the path I've walked.
For sure.
So that's you know, I just want to, I just triggered.
Because I hear you, and I think I think you understand that I can relate to, right? Like my childhood.
Totally.
Walk. Okay, so what's just popping into my mind listening to you talk now is, we're not talking about forgiving the experience. We're talking about forgiving the person. Like, I don't think I will ever be grateful for what I lived through.
Right.
But I will be grateful that I lived through it.
I think we have to bring ourselves back to.
Hang on a sec. Nancy, does that difference stick for you?
To be honest with you, I'm so triggered right now, I can't see clearly.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'll have to re-listen to that because you said forgive the person, and
which you have done. Like, we've talked about that.
Yeah. But thanks for maybe. I'll have to think about.
Yeah, just chew on it. Okay, go ahead, Susan.
Thank you.
Well, I was thinking we have to take our thoughts back to, what did we come here for in this lifetime?
Okay.
Are these experiences things you had to have to get over? Now my words are getting all balled up, but you know, something you had to experience because of something you did in a previous life. You're atoning for something. And what do you have to learn?
I don't know.
I don't
about-
know. This gets all confusing.
I don't know. I don't like that. That's such a Catholic concept, atonement.
Yes, I agree, Michelle.
I don't know what you said there, Michelle. Sorry.
Oh, I said that's such a Catholic concept, atonement.
Yeah.
I think Nancy sharing that she was triggered by this statement. I'm triggered by the word atonement.
Well, what
That's
do we
okay.
substitute
The
it
whole
with?
purpose of these conversations is to feel triggered so that we can expand comprehension. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
What's another word we could use then? Lessons you have to learn and
But remember, like the way I see the world is there's no negative, there's no positive, there is. So
Okay.
there's no concept of good or bad really on the spiritual plane. So the whole concept of atonement is a flawed human notion. There,
Okay.
like as Mike always says, and I'm sure he's going to spit it out in just a moment, there's really only love. So we don't have to atone for anything. We just have to
but we
love
have
us.
to learn something. And I guess that's
No,
what
we
I'm
just have to
thinking
love
here.
us.
Looking for the lesson.
I don't know. That's
Where
my
have we heard that before?
when we're looking for the lesson, we're creating it.
Okay.
We don't always have to have meaning for what we go through. Like Matt Kahn said once, instead of analyzing and processing all of the hurt and the pain, instead of looking to find purpose from awful things,
Okay.
all we need to say is, thank God I survived. It doesn't need to have meaning.
Okay.
Well, and then talking about atonement with that view of it, I think if we look at, set the atonement issue aside and recognize that as we're coming through the various lives that we live, we take a different position every lifetime, because whatever there is out there that we hear and see, we're going to be the player in every one of those aspects throughout our various lifetimes. We take the turn to have that experience, to know what it was like, to feel it, to live it, to allow it, and then move beyond it and allow the love. Because when we go through horrific experiences, there's always learning that can come from it.
Yeah.
And we all react differently, maybe depending on the place that we're at in our own evolvement, maybe. I don't know, but we all bring our whole self wherever we're at to each experience. So we're not all going to be on the same level always, right?
I just want to jump in to say that I'm not saying we're not learning something, but I'm saying whether we're aware of it or not, a learning is taking place.
Absolutely.
We don't need to be aware of it, right? Then we come back to that other thing that's so triggering for so many of us. I must let go of my need to understand.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
I get stuck with that. My mind seems to always go and go and go, and I don't sit in the moment and just experience or just love. I look for answers, and I need to do that more. Thank you.
And we just stay trapped in the moment, right? That we're trying to make sense of.
Thank you.
No problem. How does everybody feel about number 3? Should we just move on already? You okay over there, Nancy?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to unmute to say, yes, I'm ready to move on.
Okay.
And yeah, I got lots to think about from what everybody said. It was good. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. You never need more than you have in any given moment. Now, what do we think of this?
I need more ice cream whenever I'm having ice cream. I'm just putting that out there. Mind you, I haven't, anyway, that's my little thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, my first reaction to this aspect was I thought, what a privileged statement.
Hmm?
Say that again.
What a privileged statement.
But not negatively, because even someone who's hungry must need to experience that hunger in that moment. That's what we're here for, isn't it? To have all the variety of experiences that flow our way. If we're in allowing, maybe as we can allow that moment and accept it, we can move through it to the next, you know? Possibly.
Well, I think, look, it feels like such, this feels like such a trap to me. This line and you know, all of so many of the things that I have said already in this session and things that you've just said now, Annie, people can use to justify systemic racism and oppression.
Absolutely.
Because we're here, well, you know, you picked this and this is happening for you, so you're lucky. Like it's just verging right on this whole concept of prosperity doctrine, that it's okay for you to keep all the money and to have all the toys while your neighbors literally cannot afford to buy a home or rent a place. Right?
I have a different opinion there. Like, okay, that you can look at it that way.
To be clear,
But-
I'm not saying that that's what you're saying. I'm saying that
No,
I feel
no.
like all of these concepts are sort of gateways into confirming those ideas.
It could, but the individual always has a choice as to how you experience and how you react when you see it. Like I may have all the money,
Right.
and I may be witnessing people who have no money. And how do I choose to react to that? Do I choose to say, oh, you chose it, it's yours, and I turn and walk away? Or am I stirred in my heart and compassion to think, is there something I can do here?
Right. And that's
Right.
that's
And have gratitude in that moment for where I am and the
Right.
opportunity presented to me to maybe make a difference. I don't know. I mean, there's
like when we come to this concept of the oneness, where everything that I have is everything that you have is everything that they have, then that is absolutely true. But right now we're not there. And while you and I and so many people that we know and engage with in the world have that kind of empathy and compassion and a desire to do good and to care for the people around us, I don't know, I just feel like this line, this number 4 is really very fraught.
I agree, Michelle. I agree. It's you're right. It comes from a place of privilege to say you never need more than you have in any given moment, because to stand in front of a starving child and do nothing, which is not what I'm saying Annie's saying at all.
And
I'm
it's
just
not,
saying,
like, you know that.
no, I know that. I absolutely know where Annie's coming from. But I think looking at it, if you're the person starving, or you're the person homeless, or you're the person, you know, wanting to get out of a violent situation or be loved or whatever you're, you know,
Yeah.
I find this to be a triggering statement. Again, wow, I messed up. No, but
I think the way that this gets to be less privileged is when we are reminded that we are brought in front of these people who have more than us, or who have less than us, or who have the same of us, so that we all have opportunities to share what we have. Like that's the path to oneness, right? You're standing in front of that starving child, as you just said a moment ago, Nancy, and oh, well, here I have a sandwich. I have a granola bar in my pocket. Here, child, eat it.
yeah,
Where are your parents? Let me deliver some groceries. Like we have these opportunities, and we have as much as we need in that moment, because we have enough for us and for them too, if we are the person with more. I just feel like number 4 here needs a little bit of context around it.
yes.
And I think you need to focus on yourself. I'm thinking, you know, so often we stew about, oh my Lord, how am I gonna have enough money to do whatever that is a necessary thing for you or your family, I don't know. I think we need to just narrow in our focus and make this more about personally me. I have so much more than what I really need in physical stuff. I wonder if that's what this is talking about.
Well, but I think this is also saying what you have right now is exactly what you need. All of that physical stuff that you're talking about is what's aiding to your sense of self, your level of comfort,
Yeah.
access to your memories.
Your joy.
And the thing that I want to say too is, when I read this and I had that privileged reaction, I was really only thinking about financial things.
Right.
But if I'm looking here, you never need more than you have at any given moment. If I can't manage to pay my rent or to pay a bill or whatever the thing is, I have lots of people around me who have hearts full of love and definitely have $10 to throw my way.
Yeah.
This whole like conversation that around part number 4 here, it kind of reminds me of Eckhart Tolle, and the power of now. Because like when you really get into that now moment, then you've got everything you need. Like you don't need to pay your rent right now.
Right, but the point that I'm trying to drive to is the things that we have are not just monetary or material things. We have to be open to the relationships around us that are here to support us. And we have to allow for that support to flow through us, like to us, as well as to go to other people, right? It's not just a material thing. It's about really deeply connecting to the one, that as this person in front of me is suffering, so too am I, because we are one.
I didn't first look at it from a monetary point of view, nor a physical thing that I have that somebody else is lacking. I looked at it initially as like what we have in front of us is more than what we need. So if I need to see, I don't like the idea of need. So if I would, I'm trying to figure out what I want to say here. If I have a desire to make sure that somebody else around me is going to be helped or flourished or in some capacity, I can always help and be a friend. I can always help and give words of wisdom.
Yeah.
I can always help and just sitting and listening. I didn't see it from a monetary or physical point of view at the beginning, but then I read further on and it's like, oh. So then I got the physical aspect of, okay, well, if I have $1,000, I need to put that in rent, but not, well, I can't give it right now. So then I went to the monetary aspect afterwards, right?
Yeah.
But it's a hard one.
This, you never need more than you have at any given moment, is perhaps we could view it as a reminder that we have the emotional wherewithal to deal with and face more than we think we do.
Yeah.
It's just another restatement of, your life is never off track.
Oh yeah.
Which sometimes I really want to argue with.
Me too.
Anybody have anything else they want to chime in here before we go on to number 5? Do we feel like we covered lots of this? Okay.
I was interested, Mike have something more to say. He was saying, about being in the now, and I wasn't sure if he was finished with the point he was making.
The other part of it that I was thinking was it's actually not about any material things. It's about your state of like consciousness. Can you choose to be happy in this present moment? like now. And you I think it was Man's Search for Meaning, that book by what's his name, that was in the concentration camps. But like, the one thing they can't take away from you is your what meanings you put on the present moment. So that is kind of a state of consciousness. You can choose to be grateful. You can choose to be happy for anything that's going on at this present moment.
That's a powerful one, because that really jumped out at me. That book, I know the one you're referencing. It was phenomenal. It's just, it turns everything around on a dime, right? Just
Yes.
how you view it. These people were starving, they were tortured, they were beaten, they were everything, and their spirit was never broken. They had that spirit.
Victor, it was Viktor Frankl, and he would look into his like bowl of soup and find a fish bone, and just be so grateful for, you know, he got a fish bone or something, like, you know, it was like water in a little fish bone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Annie, for pointing out that Mike wasn't done with his thought.
Fair enough.
My friends, it is about our time.
Oh.
We only got through 4 of the 12.
Mm-hmm.
So yay for me. I don't have to do a presentation next week.
Right.
This was really a wonderful conversation. I'm very appreciative of all of the thoughts and all of the voices expressed here. I'm really glad that together we create a safe space for all of us to grow through our triggers. And, you know, on this weekend of Thanksgiving, I just want to say my heart full of gratitude for all of you says thank you.
Thank you to you for leading us each week, Michelle, and for all these years you've led us.
Truly, it's truly my pleasure. I am going to take us over to our affirmation of hope. I just have to skip through all of the other 12 aspects so that you guys aren't spoiled. No spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and mute you all so that we can all speak these words out loud and offer this raised vibration to the universe at large. Hope, fragile, luminous, and buoyant, fill me now. Bring your gifts of optimism, faith, and positivity. Grow strong within me today and every day. Increase my connection with those around me. Balance my moods with a lightness of being, and touch all those I meet with blessings. Hope, fragile, luminous, and buoyant, fill me now. Humble and expand my heart with openness, making me compassionate, relaxed, and kind. Aware of the many blessings I have each day, making of me a better, more human person. Hope is a gift that passes through me to others, and so it is.
I still love that.
Thanksgiving.
So nice to see your face, Nikki. Mike